A very brilliant SHS student, I'll be exposing Ato Forson, Mahama Yadiga, and John Mahama. Efa 9% inflation rate in Ghana Hanamo. I'll be exposing, but nothing. The record parliament, the Honomo no inflation debate, echoes, Honomo. But your punk croma, in fact, or credit NDC government pay ye. But my children watch the wide amame. Comment section. How you Penyah broke media. Mess was any demo. Or like video, not that one, subscribe button, snap back like notification, connect for latest updates. Now better the wide and the amame, comment section. Best also Barcelona shape was on your be ashe. And then in Ghana has how a near man two and then test for Esiba. It all came by inflation rate and exchange rate. And one million Ghana has so at the a certain price for items. Two. The parameters are two. Inflation rate can be. And afi exchange rate. The exchange rate that will affect the inflation rate. Now affect prices of commodities. Eti what in national. All them say under MPP time, na dollar cost ro kakra krebu cost ro na above from na above from. It's because of that. Prior to that, na inflation rate was ro kakra. It even as of December 2024, na inflation rate either 23%, and a dollar either 14.75. Now 2025 figure no. And inflation about 9%. About 9%. I'm even in the budget no crown Ato Forson every day and OG and when yam honor say make sure say by the end of 2026, Ghana they will keep inflation rate at a fixed rate of 8%, and it will never be above 8%. Or make it that as a promise to Ghanaians during the budget reading last week today. Now we say inflation rate na Ato Forson about one any exchange rate now inflation above form. There has been a deflation, and also there has been a reduction or a fall in exchange rate because dollar so tier net here about 10 point something and moving from 14.75 as of December 2024 to as low as 10.9 in November 2025, and inflation deflected from 20% to as low as 9%. But only may I say, when it comes to price for goods and commodities on the market, it remained the same. In fact, there has even been a sharp increment. Inflation rate from dollar it moves in line with prices because inflation and exchange rate it moves alongside with prices of items because dollar cost not items cost not that same time na inflation so cost. In that same sense, so dollar tier, then it poses effect on inflation. Inflation so ebete. Then in that same line, it must poses effect on prices of goods and items. But 25 and it's a dollar on the internet. Inflation from in books for documentary, but prices of goods and commodities there. Yehuntis will be a eba. And I was like, what is happening? What is happening in Ghana 2025? What is happening? Now I know Anna Ato Forson go read the budget to so Okoji and Wenyam. Now only way Anna SHS student there was a program or organizer. Now I honor and will throw this question.
Prof. Sheriff was touting the government for them bringing inflation down to 8%. In 2024, inflation was 23%. But in 2024, when I used to buy Belakwa Active, it was at the price of 5 cedis. But right now, inflation is at 8%, but the Belakwa Active have increased to 6 cedis. So I don't understand. So I want for you to please explain for me. Thank you.
One thing I find fascinating about that question is you're very posh students. I mean, a student to be drinking Belakwa Active, eh? You must be posh. That's just by the way, right? It's a joke. Don't take it seriously. So, I mean, yes, I think the education have been given to that effect. And as you see, there's no direct correlation between that and price. So you might find all it happens is that it creates an enabling environment for functionality to happen within the economic space and to have some expansions and contractions where it could be positively used or not. So I hope that is answered. And the Women's Development Bank.
I'll throw this question to one of the panelists. In fact, the panelists actually disappointed me because Akodawi threw such a brilliant question. Instead of you to answer the question as it is, now he was beating about the bush, trying to create some jokes, and then now you're posh student. Posh student, funny. Question I could say, posh student, this is big exposé. This is big exposé because if exchange rate is falling and inflation is falling, it must reflect on the market. But here's the case: there's a constant deflation. There's a constant, low exchange rate, but prices for goods on the market remain the same. It remains unchanged. Now, I know Anna Enra, you go PM our Ghana Parliament. Now, Kojo upon Kroma, any former finance minister, Honorable Amin Amidu, Omu exposé Ato Forson, Afenyo Markin.
1.5, and on the 3rd of November, they announced that they were going to pump another 1 billion. Mr. Speaker, from January till now, the Bank of Ghana has pumped not less than 8 billion cedis to shore up $8 billion, I beg your pardon, to shore up the currency. Ghana's import bill so far is about $14 billion. So the normal supply of dollar in the economy will give us problems. It is this pumping that is holding us up. Mr. Speaker, what we should do is to take advantage of the windfall forex that we are getting from the gold purchase program and fix the structural issues. Else you can dance as much as you want in the chamber. If we are hit by one challenge, we will be in trouble. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to inflation, if you don't tackle the supply side issues, and all that you are doing is that you are sterilizing, the consequence, Mr. Speaker, will be that you will claim inflation has come down, but the lived experience of people out there will be that the prices of the average goods and services they are buying is going up. Mr. Speaker, if you say that the monetary policy rate of the central bank has come down, so interest rates are solid, I beg of you to check the average lending rate and the stock of credit to private sector. You will find that it hasn't reflected. So we have serious issues to deal with. We should not reduce it to name calling and dancing and singing. Else, one major shock, we'll be back to where we are. Now, Mr. Speaker, let me focus my attention on the real sector. Agric, you promised 1.5 billion investment into two major things, Feed Ghana and Nkukong Kitinkiti. Nkukong Kitinkiti, you launched it one day before you came to read the second of your 4 budgets. So how much investment has gone into it? Zero. Feed Ghana, how much has gone into it? Where are the farmers who are supposedly benefiting from it for it to lead to an improvement in agriculture? So real sector investment, growth and jobs is not happening. Industry, you inherited a 24-hour economy program. You said it was a bad program. In fact, you inherited a 1D, 1F program. I beg your pardon. You said it was a bad program and that you are replacing it with a 24-hour economy program. No problem.
So when should I ask that you inherited 24-hour economy should be expunged from the record?
No, they inherited a 1D, 1F program. And then they said it wasn't good for purpose, and so they were replacing it with a 24-hour economy program. Mr. Speaker, the National Development Planning Commission of the Republic of Ghana has reported that the 1B, 1F program left 150 factories that were functioning. That is 18 factories a year. So in 2025, when you suspended the 1B, 1F program, the opportunity cost is 18 factories that could have created jobs for young people. You said 24-hour economy program. Where are the factories? How many jobs? You ended up even by telling us that in 2026, we should not expect a program and a budget. Now you say you are going to give us 110 million for the 24-hour economy factory. You have no program to create industrial jobs. Mr. Speaker, in the budget, they say they are going to create 800,000 jobs. And I saw my brother John Dumelo dancing at the back there that Ato is forcing because he's announced 800,000 jobs. They forgot that the next paragraph says that 490,000 of those jobs are laborers. Paragraph 501, please listen. Mr. Speaker, 63 billion Ghana cedis worth of road contracts awarded so far under the big push, and it will generate 490,000 jobs. So your 800,000 jobs that you are announcing in your own budget, Almost 500,000 of them are going to be manual labor on road projects. I was in Cape Coast University 2 days ago. The students who are about to graduate, those in the technical universities, you don't have plans for them. Mr. Speaker, I want to conclude by reminding our colleagues that if this budget really intends to create growth and jobs, they need to be investing in the job-creating initiatives. You can make all the noise that you want. If your revenue doesn't perform, you won't get the money to invest in it. If your revenue doesn't perform and you don't invest it in the things that will create jobs, the young people will come for you at the end of the day. You say you don't have fiscal space. You are doing fiscal discipline. So I was shocked to hear you say that now you have space to buy a new executive jet. Two, actually. You don't have fiscal space. You don't have fiscal space to finish paying the contractors on outstanding projects. But you have fiscal space to buy 2 executive jets. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to conclude by reminding our colleagues, your revenue strategy is not performing. You don't have resources to expend. You are pumping because gold prices is at $4,000. It may not be there forever. You have 2 more budgets to go. I beg of you, spend it doing the real structural issues, not dancing over temporary results. Else, we'll be back here some other time. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
By my brother, the Honorable Ato Forson, on behalf of His Excellency, President John Dramani Mahama. Mr. Speaker, I have already described this budget as growthless and jobless. It does not offer hope to the people of Ghana. It does not offer hope to workers. It does not offer hope to teachers, not even to investors. The confidence levels in the economy is very low. And it is not we, the minority, who are saying it. Mr. Speaker, it is not the minority that is saying it. Whilst the government is in this house praising itself, investors out there are saying something different. Mr. Speaker, before the budget was presented, the government conducted 45 Treasury bill auctions. 45. And if you want to know, one of the measures to know the confidence in an economy, it is the market, how the market responds, how they patronize your investment, how they patronize your instrument, your debt instruments. And Mr. Speaker, I'm saying that 45 Treasury auctions conducted since January, 25 failed. If 55% of your Treasury auctions failed, what it means is that confidence in the management of the economy collapsed. Mr. Speaker, what is even intriguing is that 2 days after presenting the budget, a budget which is supposed to give good news to Ghanaians, a budget which is supposed to give good news to investors, 2 days after presenting the budget, the market rejected your debt instruments. Your Treasury bills suffered 30% rejection. That is a vote of no confidence in the economy by investors in this country. Mr. Speaker, when it comes to inflation numbers, the minister boasted that they achieved a single-digit inflation. Mr. Speaker, single-digit inflation is good for any economy. And this was why under the government of President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we achieved, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, single-digit inflation is good. Under President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we achieved single-digit in 2018, single-digit in 2019, 2 years running, Mr. Speaker. And this will be one of the longest periods of single-digit inflation in the history of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, so to achieve a single-digit inflation is really good for every economy. But when you unmax this single-digit inflation we have today, Mr. Speaker, you will see a troubling picture. Essential commodities, what we call essential commodities, basic commodities Ghanaians associate with. Mr. Speaker, if you look at inflation for those commodities within the inflation basket, the increase in prices are higher than what we saw in 2024. They are higher than what we saw in 2024. Mr. Speaker, according to data from the Ghana Statistical Service, and you can get that from their website, basic commodities like water, in September 2024, year on year, the inflation for water classified was 2.8%. Inflation by classification, year on year, 2.8%. September this year, September, Mr. Speaker, it was 3.6%. August was actually higher, 3.9%, August this year. Milk and eggs, September 2024, the rate of inflation year on year was 8.6%. September this year, 2025, Mr. Speaker, it is 20.1%. August was even higher, as high as 37%. Oil and fats, I'm talking about cooking oil, palm oil, groundnut oil. Mr. Speaker, September 2024, the inflation was 7%. Mr. Speaker, sadly, September this year, 2025, it was 44%. In August, it was actually 53%. Mr. Speaker, you can see this trend with fruits and nuts. You can see the same trend with coffee and coffee substitutes. You can see the same trend with cocoa drinks. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, behind this single-digit inflation they are boasting about is a real struggling economy, which is depriving people of decent livelihoods. Mr. Speaker, amidst these economic difficulties, the priorities of this government have shifted from the people. They are social democrats, but they've forgotten about the people. Their priority has shifted to buying jets and helicopters. The minister announced in presenting the budget that in 2026, they will purchase 2 executive jets, 4 helicopters, and a vessel. If they were to buy 2 helicopters to even replace those that were involved in accident, I can understand. But 4 helicopters, at the time you are telling Ghanaians to sacrifice more. You gave workers 9%, and you are asking them to sacrifice more. Mr. Speaker, the minister did not give the cost of these jets they want to buy. But conservative estimates show that it will cost us $1.2 billion US. Mr. Speaker, this is not a government that is concerned about the people. Workers are suffering, teachers are suffering, farmers in my constituency are suffering. Mr. Speaker, and then you want to use that money to buy helicopters and presidential jets. Mr. Speaker, the 2026 budget, when it comes to capital spending, the 2026 budget cannot produce growth. It cannot produce the jobs promised the people. Mr. Speaker, why do I say that? The 2026 budget proposes 3.6% of GDP for capital spending. This is higher than the 1.5% of GDP which was proposed in 2025. And the minister actually did 0.5% of GDP. But the 3.6% of GDP for 2026 is lower than the 4.6% of GDP we did in 2024. Mr. Speaker, generally, capital investment is low in Ghana, and it's not just with the NDC. It happened with us, even though our figure was higher. It happened with previous government. That is not good if we have to build the long-term sustainability of our economy. We need to be serious as a country to invest, to do more capital investment, because that is what will generate growth, that is what will generate the jobs. Mr. Speaker, having said this, the minister talked about stability, but I know that economic stability should drive growth. It should drive growth. Unfortunately, his estimate for growth for 2026 was put at 4.8%. Mr. Speaker, when the economy has stabilized, you are projecting 4.8%. At the time you said the economy was criminally managed, the economy grew at 5.7%. And so I don't see this logic An economy that is badly managed could grow at 5.7%, and an economy that is stabilized is projecting to grow at 4.8%. There is no macroeconomic theory that can support this framework. Mr. Speaker, therefore, this stability for me doesn't exist. It's stability on paper, it is cooked stability, because I see a significant disconnect between that stability and the struggling real economy of this country at this moment. Mr. Speaker, if we have to develop our country and grow jobs, we have to invest in capital investment. And therefore, I want to make a proposal to this government. I hope they will take it. That to be able to increase capital investment, we may have to introduce what we call the golden rule. The golden rule, as it pertains in Britain, that we will not borrow to consume anymore. We will not borrow for consumption. We will borrow to invest in capital investment so that we can generate growth to support job creation in the country. Mr. Speaker, this budget offers big promises, but the numbers behind the promises simply do not add up. Let's come to numbers with regards to revenue performance. Mr. Speaker, the 2025 revenue performance up to September 2025 shows that the system is struggling. The budget reports that by end September 2025, revenue and grants amounted to 154.9 billion Ghana cedis. This is equal to 11.1% of GDP. Mr. Speaker, but the full year target is 226 billion Ghana cedis, equivalent to 16% of GDP. So to hit this full year target, Mr. Speaker, quarter 4 alone must deliver 71 billion Ghana cedis, nearly 5% of GDP in one quarter. But let me break it down further, Mr. Speaker. Quarter 1 will have to generate 32% of the entire year's revenue. Quarter 4 will need to be 40% bigger than the average quarter so far. We must ask, what policy, what compliance breakthrough, what structural shift, or even what miracle can support such an extraordinary fourth quarter performance when you have not performed in the first 3 quarters of the year? Mr. Speaker, no explanation has been provided. This is not proper forecasting. This is wishful arithmetic. Mr. Speaker, the revenue measures in the 2026 budget itself are unrealistic and untested. Government wants Ghanaians to believe that they can raise 1.6 billion Ghana cedis from VAT compliance, 1.2 billion Ghana cedis from small taxpayers reforms, 1.68 billion Ghana cedis from removing 347 exemptions, 747 million Ghana cedis from corporate income tax, and recover 5.3 billion Ghana cedis while reorganizing levies and the VAT, what they call the VAT reforms. But, Mr. Speaker, these measures depend almost entirely on behavior change, administrative strength, GRA enforcement capacity, customs discipline, a taxpayer base still recovering from economic stress. But 2025 had these similar measures, and 2025 showed that the measures underperformed. If compliance gains could ensure that we address the revenue shortfall, it would have done it for us. Mr. Speaker, if removing import exemptions could have raised revenue, it would have done it for us this year. Unfortunately, these measures failed.
Comment section. How you Penyah Block Media?